Yo, so I built a automation system that will make me these ethanol crystals, which I can use to power stuff, which is pretty cool. So here it is. I just got knocked off. So over here we've got my output drawer, where I have much ethanol. This much so far from like an hour? I don't know, but it's pretty good. And I use ethanol to power a gasoline engine and better machines, which can make stuff faster. This machine here is using ethanol. I put 2 stacks in there. It's gonna last for a while. So how do I make ethanol? What is the process for making this delighted ingredient? Well, it starts with some sugar in a fermenter. Sugar gets from sugar cane. So then I needed a sugarcane farm. So I've just got something set up here. It's got like basically a block update detector. So when the sugarcane grows to full height, then it'll activate these pistons here, and then it'll break the sugarcane. And then on the other end, we've got a fan, that thing there, that'll just push all things. Now the ethanol should be in the hopper here, and you can see I just picked up a bunch of sugarcane because it just got activated. So then the sugarcane enters this drawer here. And then over here, this thing that takes out from the straw is in round robin mode here. What that means is that it'll send half of the stuff it gets from there into over here, and half of the stuff into over here, which are the only 2 places it can enter. So what's over here? Over here we've got a drawer that is filtered so it can only have sugar cane, and this is crafted into sugar using this auto crafting unit. Then that's put into here with dirt, which we have to fill up manually in the store here. That'll make yeast. And then yeast, what we do with that is we put it with some sort of like greenery thing into another fermenter to make sludge. So we put it into here to make sludge. Basically, the other half of the sugarcane that we get goes into here. So I'm going to put that in there. Then what do we do with that sludge? We have to put that to our centrifuge to get ethanol extracts. So that goes in here, and then wow, that's empty. Actually, that's not good. They get the ethanol extract, and then that'll get melted in this furnace here, which eventually gets us the ethanol crystals. And we also get compost as a byproduct from extracting the sludge, and the compost we can use to make dirt, and I think we can also use it as like a bone meal. I'm not really sure. So then what's the rest of the stuff here? It's not that complicated to actually like the actual machine stuff. Well, all of this stuff here is to power those machines and to make sure that they operate. The main power source, actually the power source for this whole thing, is 3 steam engines here. Now what they do is that they use water and heat, and once they get over 100 degrees here, you can see that this one is at 105 degrees Celsius, and then once it's over 100 degrees, then it'll generate energy at a certain speed and whatever. These cooling fins here are so that it doesn't get too hot, because basically right now you can see it says 1.5 hours of fuel left. But if it gets really hot, then it'll use up water a lot faster, and our water production won't be fast enough to catch up. So that's why we got the cooling fins on top of it. And then we just get the water really simply here using a pump over, and that drains from this infinite water source here. So I'll start from the end here. So here we've got a steam engine powering a friction heater, and this heats up the furnace. And you can see it's melting into the ethanol extract. I just wanted to have an automatic furnace, and this is really fast considering, well, it's not super cheap, but it's pretty fast considering how cheap it is. And actually, I want to check, because how fast it is if we use a gasoline engine, how efficient is it? The required torque is 32 nanometers, and it needs a certain amount of power. So we're actually wasting energy, because this is 128 nanometers of torque, so we would have to use a gearbox to change the energy by a factor of 4. So we need a 4-to-1 gearbox to decrease the torque and increase the speed from 512 to something higher. Now right now, a steam engine does 512 rads per second for the speed, or radians per second. So if we actually just hook this straight up to the friction heater, it would be the same speed, even though it has much more power overall, and that's because all of the power is going into the torque. So what we would have to do is convert a gearbox in order to get that extra speed. So then how do we power this centrifuge here? This centrifuge needs a high amount of speed, 4,096 speeds, and the required power is 16,384, which is actually just the amount of power the steam engine powers. So one of these is just enough to power a centrifuge, and it's not very fast. But you can see it's 4,096. Well, a steam engine only provides 512 speed, so that means that we need to convert by a whole, actually only 8-to-1 ratio, in order to make the centrifuge um, operate at the minimum speed. So that's why it takes 23.9 seconds. It takes 23.9 seconds for this, which isn't very fast, but it is how it is. Then and then in order to do that, we need the 8-to-1 gearbox, and then this double here just turns it, because if I like right click it, you can see the green side is on the bottom, meaning it gets power from below. Then the last steam engine here, the shaft junction splits the energy 50-50, so that power is equally distributed into these two fermenters. Yeah, then from there we're speeding it up, because as you can see here, it is, oh well, you can't see from that one, it takes 6.2 seconds right now, if I right click it, but as you can see the temperature is increasing in a second. Yeah, you can see the temperature is increasing to 7.1 seconds, and when it's daytime, because we're in a rainforest biome in the top right, the temperature is actually makes it really slow. So it actually takes the same amount of time as this centrifuge to operate during the daytime. But then previously we were just powering it directly from the steam engine, and that was really slow. So what we're doing is we're using 4-to-1 gearboxes to speed it up. So in the daytime it's actually 23 seconds, because previously it was 40 seconds during the daytime, which is super slow. So we're just doing the same thing for both sides here. Now you might have noticed we have the cooling fins on top of the gearboxes as well, and as well as the steam engine. So the reason why they're on top of the gearboxes is since because these are only made of stone, when it's going too fast, it heats up the gearboxes because of friction and whatever, and then they'll actually explode and stuff. Or they won't explode. They'll get damaged, because if I right click here, you can see that the gearbox 0% damage. If it gets too hot, then it'll actually get damaged. So that's it. That's the whole thing. Then what's this lubricant hose here? What's that for? So basically the gearboxes, not all gearboxes, but these stone ones, they need lubricant to operate. And if they don't have lubricant, they'll also get damaged, because it's not like well oiled or whatever. So then we need to make some lubricant. So how do we get this lubricant? But how we do that is we put these canola seeds in a grinder, and that makes us canola seed husk, and also generates lubricant. So we're extracting the lubricant from here, and it's going and connecting to the gearboxes here that need it. Oh, come on. And then we need it for this one here. And then all of it is ending up over here at this reservoir, which is actually full. So that means that these pipes are going to get filled up. So you can see that's got 159 millibuckets, 160 there. So it looks like we'll need to make another one of those reservoirs. And what we can do with this reservoir is we can actually pick it up and then move lubricant to somewhere else, which is why we don't want the lubricant in the pipes. We want to be able to transport it for later stuff. So then overall we're getting a lot of ethanol crystals, and then we're going to use that to do some ore stuff. Oh yeah, one last thing. This stuff is slow. It's really slow, so I was like, let's speed up the growth of plants. So what we use to do that is we use something called a sprinkler. It's really easy. We just pump water into a sprinkler. It waters nearby crops. It's like a really cheap bone meal. And I think that's everything. Thanks for watching. Hopefully I wasn't too rambly. I'll upload again in a couple of months, maybe. I don't know.